Hello, everyone, and welcome to another live stream. Got a special guest, 713 Houston Sportsman. Hey, go check out his channel. I'm have his channel in the description down below. Big Houston Texan fan. We got football coming in a couple days. Are you excited for this, man?
This is the season I've been waiting for. Since Thursday night, well, last night, it's been hard to sleep, and I knew this was going to happen when the opening whistle to last night's Chiefs and Ravens game started. That the anxiety is already through the roof, the excitement is already through the roof. It's going to be there tonight. It for sure is going to be there on Saturday. I probably won't be able to sleep. I'll be like what D'Amico said, looking up, trying to see any way we could have an advantage over these Indianapolis Colts. But this is what we've all been waiting for since 2002, man. I am excited.
Yeah, man. And hit that like button. He said, hit that like button. I'm excited too, but I'm nervous. I have anxiety. And the reason why I have anxiety, man, is because I've seen a lot of Texan teams win 10 games, win 11 games, 12-win team, and they all broke my heart completely. Like I'm finished and I'm like this. I'm like, it hurts. So I'm curious, like, tell me, what does this team have to show you this year that'll make you know that, okay, we are an actual Super Bowl contender that can beat teams like the Chiefs and the Ravens?
Well, first of all, man, I think you got to get out of that mindset, right? Yes, we've all been heartbroken before, but that goes life, right? But you got to keep on going, right? You got to keep on keeping on. That's what Joe Dirt said. And here's the thing: as much as we need these Houston Texans players to go out there and perform on Sunday, they need us. They need us to be there every single week, cheering from them. They know the expectations as well as we do as well. And this isn't the same old Houston Texans, Jesse. And I hate that phrase because it's a phrase that's been around for so long. But the same old Houston Texans do not go into the offseason and bring in a Stefon Diggs, Joe Mixon, Daniil Hunter, Azeez Al-Shaair. They don't bring back Bobby Slowick. They don't bring back Gerard Johnson. They probably would have traded someone away. I'm looking at you, Bill Bryan, when you traded away DeAndre Hopkins for a bag of chips. Like, this is a totally different Houston Texans team. And when you look at the teams of the past, right, in the Matt Schaub era, you knew he was a good, not great quarterback, right? With the Deshaun Watson eras, you had a fantastic quarterback, but you just cannot trust your defense worth of anything. With this 2024 Houston Texans team, you have an offense that you believe in, a defense that's ready to hunt, and a fantastic special teams with new punter Tommy Rocket. This is the most I've ever been excited for, man. So listen, dude, it's like, I'm ready to get my heart broken again. But I just know when this Houston Texans team is hosting up that Lombardi at the end of the year, I get to go back in any one of these lives, any one of these episodes and say, I had us going to the Super Bowl. I had us being the best team in the NFL. And look.
I'll tell you, for me, like, this is the best team that I've seen us have. CJ Stroud, second year. A lot of people may think he might have like a slump, but I honestly think from what he was good at last year, it didn't seem like some fluke stuff. Those are things that are like legitimate, like 10-year veteran type of behavior. So definitely for me, Stefon Diggs, Tank Dell, Nico Collins, Dalton Schultz. I know we got Brevin Jordan as well. He had that 70-yard touchdown against Cleveland, so that was dope. I mean, Joe Mixon, we got all of this talent. And we had the offensive line is pretty good. The defensive line, I'm really loving. So much talent. And I'm just like, in my head, I'm like, there's no way they can mess this up. Like this, D'Amico Ryans and, Bobby Slowick, the continuity is so important for a young quarterback. And I'm like, there's no way they can mess this up. But in my head, and you said to get out of that mindset, I've seen the past, and I'm looking and living in the past is a dangerous thing.
It's dangerous because you can't move on. Right? You don't want to be that guy that said, man, I doubted this Houston Texans team in the beginning, because people are going to let you know. I'm going to let everyone know who didn't believe in this team, who say we weren't going to be nothing. I'm going to let them know that they were wrong. And that's the beauty of seeing your team go from the bottom of the bottom to one of the best in the NFL. I was here 3 years ago. A lot of people weren't. Man. Now there's 35 other, content creators out there, and I hope they are successful. But for someone like me, for someone like Harley, like the H-Town Rundown, Landry Locker, Cody Stu, Soft Sports, all the guys who've been here since the beginning, they're going to be the ones who get to talk the most mess, talk the loudest, because it was a rough time. as a Houston Texans fan. And now we're here, baby.
Those are some dark days, man. The 2020, 21, and 22 season, bro. I mean, I couldn't. If you told me 2 years ago when we faced the Colts in that week 18 or week 17, 18, whatever last game, that 2 years later we're a Super Bowl contender, that
Mm,
sounds like a lie. That sounds like, did we trade for Joe Burrow or something like that? That sounds impossible. So the fact that we're in this situation is amazing. I'm gonna tell you this. When I watched them play this year, the key for me is like, what's the energy? Like, there's a, like, for me,
mhm,
I love that we took D'Amico Ryans from the 49ers because I love the 49ers and I love the swag, the energy, that type of vibe. We kept taking Patriot people, and I hated that because to me, that was all
mhm,
fluky. That was a Tom Brady. You needed to bring Tom Brady here. You couldn't bring Tom Brady here, so that was not going to work. But I loved the 49ers swag. So when we got the 49ers, coaching staff to the Texans and the swag, it showed that culture shift. I was like, okay, this is different. When
mhm.
we face these teams, man, we got to take care of business. That's the number one thing for me this year. It's like, I'm tired of these, like, the stupid losses where I'm like, how did I lose that game? I know it's
Mhm.
in NFL any given Sunday, but like, we lost to Carolina last year, and I'm like,
Yeah, the
bro,
Panthers game, the Falcons game are games that you should have won. And if you have Super Bowl expectations, you can't have games like that. And this is a great test. This game against the Indianapolis Colts with a uncertainty at quarterback with Anthony Richardson, only playing in the 17th game since high school. This is a game that I think the Houston Texans should handle and should take advantage early and put to bed the notion of AR5. But I definitely agree with you. You don't want to lose those games where you sit back and think, man, what could have happened in terms of seeding? Where would I be if I would have won that game?
and this is the year, like last year, losing to the Panthers and Falcons was like, okay, I didn't expect us to be in the playoffs at that point. So it's like, okay, we're
Mm,
just losing stupid games. But this year, we're a Super Bowl contender. Like, who's going to beat the Chiefs? It's the Ravens, Texans. Like, we are one of those teams. So we
mhm,
can't afford to lose those games. I know when you're going through these, you don't face the Chiefs and Ravens. You got to go through these like hard fought back and forth, and that's fine. You can put me through stress in those games. But the reason why I love this Colts game is that the Colts are a team. I don't know what they are. I don't know if
mhm,
they're good, and I don't know if they're bad. Like
mhm.
Anthony Richardson, I don't know if he's going to ball out or if he's going to be awful. So this is a game where it says I don't know. That's why I'm nervous. I don't know what I'm expecting. You got to go and just show up and take
Mhm.
care of business because we are better than the Colts. That's, to me, we are better than them. But that doesn't mean they can't beat you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So speaking of that game, when it comes to that game, what matchups are you looking for that benefits the Texans when we face the
Y-
Colts?
it's going to be the run game, right? You're going to have to do your best to contain Jonathan Taylor. We know how special Anthony Richardson is with his legs. Make him one dimensional, make him throw the football. His performance through the air during the preseason was not good. He had a pick six against the Cincinnati Bengals. There was that moment in joint practice where they were making fun of AR5 for his performance out there. And I think there is a lot of pressure on Anthony Richardson in this game. Colts fans have been talking to us about week 2 since week 2. And here's the thing. I think with a D'Amico Ryan's defense that has a 3 new starters on the defensive line, Mario Edwards Jr., Lorenzo Fatukasi, and just a guy named Daniel Hunter who had 16 and a half sacks last year. You basically have a new linebacking core in Aziz Al-Shaair and Henry Tuatu and Jake Hansen back there. Then your secondary is Kamari Lassiter and Kalen Bullock back there. This is an entirely different defense that the Indianapolis Colts are going up against. Very different from week 18. I cannot say the same about the Indianapolis Colts team, though, because some of the
Mm.
concerns from the fan base was their GM not doing anything in the offseason to improve their team on offense. The only thing they did was draft A.D. Mitchell in the second round. That's pretty much it. On the defensive side, all they added was Liato Leah on the defensive line. Other than that, that's pretty much it. That shitty secondary is still there. And if you make AR one dimensional, if the Houston Texans get ahead early where they kind of
Yeah.
have to stray away from the run, not abandon for it, I think the Houston Texans are going to have their way on Sunday. And I think this is a game where after in the post games, we say we've been hyping up this Houston Texan offense all year, but look what this defense did today. And if you shut down the notion of AR5, if you go in and have a dominant day on the ground, because I don't think they're going to be successful through the air. This Houston Texans
Mhm.
secondary against the Indianapolis Colts, passing attack, I'm taking our secondary all day. Michael Pittman Jr., he did not have more than 60 yards in any of his performances last year against the Houston Texans, and that was with and without Derek Stingley. So Derek Stingley is going to be there locking him up. If he has to shadow him, he will. I don't think there's going to be Josh Downs. Their second year receiver had 700 yards last year. Very good slot guy. So it might be A.D. Mitchell, Michael Pittman, and Alec Pierce, their draft pick from a couple of years ago, as the pass catchers for AR5. That does not scare me. And I don't know who they're going to have starting at tight end, but that doesn't scare me either. Oh, Panda just let us know that Downs is out. So,
Oh, there you go.
the Colts are heading into this game banged up. The Houston Texans are not. And,
Yeah,
when
this
the
is
only player on the list, injury-wise is MJ Stewart, I can't recall the last time the Houston Texans went into a season healthy like this. Make AR throw the ball, contain the run, and I
He's
think
on
the Houston
fire.
Texans are going to have themselves a good day.
Yeah, that's good. I love that. That's a good point. Because I'm telling you, last year our whole line was gone, and I'm just like, dang, we can't even get to the face Baltimore for everything to fall apart. So
Mm-hmm.
that is a good point. What do you think about the Jonathan Taylor matchup? Because he has done a really good job against the Houston Texans. What do you think
Well, he
about that?
almost won the game for them last year, week 18. And that's to
Yeah,
me just the only key of the game is containing Anthony Richardson. Are you going to stop one of the best running backs in the NFL completely? Absolutely not. But he cannot gas you for 130, 140, 150, and you expect to have a chance to win this game. Because that's when, Shane Steichen, who's a very good play caller for the Indianapolis Colts, can get tricky with his mobile quarterback. And that's the thing about Anthony Richardson. It's his mobility, it's his size that make him special. And if the Houston Texans can just nip that in the bud early, I think it will be a long day for this Indianapolis Colts offense. And it's easier said than done when you're stomping Jonathan Taylor. But like I mentioned, you have a new defensive line. You have Will Anderson Jr., for Lorenzo Fatukasi, Mario Edwards Jr., and Daniil Hunter. And your linebacking core with Azeez Al-Shaair, who was a run thumper, 163 tackles last year for the Tennessee Titans, a franchise guy. It's going to be a fun task, right? I don't think they're just going to run all over us. I think the Houston Texans are going to be able to contain it. I mean, if JT has 70, 80 yards at the end of the day, you won. You're happy.
amazing. That's amazing. 70, 80 yards at the end of the day is an amazing. Oh, it's happy birthday? Happy birthday for Panda?
Happy birthday, Panda. Shout out to
Happy
Panda.
birthday.
Panda's been a
Clap
real one,
up.
bro. She's been here since day one for me, man.
Shout out to her. Clap it up for you. Clap it up for you. So, who do you think on the Texans will have the best day on Sunday? Who do you think?
I think it will be CJ Stroud.
That's
In both of his games against the Indianapolis Colts secondary, he had his way. Right. In week 2, he threw for almost 400 yards. And that, oh my God, I'm sorry. In that week 18 matchup, he only had Nico Collins and still put up 195 yards and only had Dalton Schultz. There was no one else besides those two. Now you're adding in Tank Dell, who didn't play in week 18. Now you added Stefon Diggs, who was not on the Houston Texans in week 18. And the Colts have a damn good slot cornerback, right? Kenny Moore. I got to give him his flowers, but that's it. That's it. They're outside guys. They're absolute garbage. They're trash. They're dog water. I can go out there and hit them with the double move and be open because I know CJ's going to put it right in
wow.
between my hands. Um,
Wow.
this that would have been a crazy pause, right?
Yeah.
But dude, it's gonna be great.
Yo, CJ, like, is there DBs that bad? Like, is it really
They did
that bad?
nothing, bro, to improve their secondary, and it's the exact same as last season. And you're now going against a passing attack with Stefon Diggs, with Tank Dell, and oh my God, we haven't even talked about Joe Mixon. It's his first game
Yeah.
as the Houston
Oh, wait.
Texan also. So they're going up against a brand new offense, a brand new defense. And I keep on reminding people, dude, that bringing back offensive coordinator Bobby Slowick was just so key in the
It was.
development of CJ Stroud. This offense, it's year 2 for everyone, and everyone should have a better understanding. It should be fluid right out the gate. I think CJ Stroud has a better day because when you look at that Colts secondary, it's not that good. We've seen CJ Stroud with no offensive line put up 40 points on a very good defense because he gets the ball out so quick. Nesto brings up Joe Mixon, and if Joe Mixon can give you, 15 and 18 carries tomorrow and 5, 6 targets, and he gets maybe 2 or 3 catches on Sunday, then that's what he's here to do. With Joe Mixon, you're looking at the all-purpose yards here. He had 1,000 yards on the ground, and I think 13 plus. I'm sorry, not 1,300. 300 through the air. So in total, around 1,400 all-purpose yards he got last season behind a horrible offensive line. And he comes to the Houston Texans, where you have an offensive line that hasn't played together in 2 years. So it's the first time we get to see them. There's a lot of hype around this O-line. You've invested so much into this offensive line, and now it's time to see them perform.
And I'm gonna tell you, this guy right here, John, he is a Cowboy fan, and he tries to hold me to the fire, saying the Texans are the Texans gonna make the Super Bowl? Because if I say yes, they are, then he gonna hold it, and if we don't, then he gonna like crucify me. It's that Cowboy energy, they Cowboy fans.
Here's the thing, right? Because I've been called a Cowboys fan because I'm saying this Houston Texans team is going to be good. Here's the thing. When was the last time you heard a Houston Texans fan say that? Right? You could argue, you could argue all the way back in the Deshaun Watson days. Every year you hear the Dallas Cowboys saying this is our year. With that being said, I'm not worried about trash. I'm not worried about the second best team in Texas. We're going to walk up there Monday night in Jerry's World and beat your ass. That's what's going to happen. The Houston Texans are going to end whatever the hell the Dallas Cowboys think they're doing.
And let's get it. That's good energy, boy. That's some good energy, boy. Let me get it. He's on fire. He's on fire. Let me. And I saw somebody said was it Baltimore? No, it's Baltimore. I wanted to ask this. I saw the Chiefs and Ravens play yesterday. Those are the two teams that we have to beat to get to the Super Bowl. Like, what do you think? How do you think we can beat those teams? Like with Chiefs, Ravens, what we got to do to beat them teams?
It's gonna take y'all 53 man, dude. And those teams, you're talking about MVPs on both sides. Lamar Jackson 2-time, Pat Mahomes, MVP as well, arguably the greatest quarterback currently. A great defense, great minds at the head coaching position. Dude, right now they look miles ahead of the rest of the league because it looked comfortable on both sides of the ball for them. They have players with experience. The Houston Texans, man, they just got to go in and and just go out there and and be fearless. Don't be scared of the 2-time Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs or the MVP Lamar Jackson and that Baltimore Ravens purple, because they are scary. Don't get me wrong, but the Houston Texans, they just have to go out there fearless to face teams like that.
I tell you, and I assume Keith is a Chiefs fan. I can only assume. For me, it's like when you facing teams like that, like the Chiefs, who have this dynasty. They're obviously a dynasty, right? You're right. You have to go in completely fearless. You cannot go in like I see the Ravens yesterday, and I felt like they was really, they're really trying. It was kind of like not like they're really trying to win, and obviously
won the game.
They almost won the game. So obviously, even though they didn't play that well, they still played well enough. For us, you got to go in like we're a good team as well. We got a lot of talent on this team. We're going into Kansas City. I know Baltimore is at home, bro. You gotta, and that's like in 4 days or 4 or 5. That's a very close.
Dude, we play Miami, Kansas City, Baltimore in 10 days.
You just gotta lock in. That's the type of thing. You just gotta completely lock in and see what you could do. Go 2-1.
Pray you get healthy.
But another thing, you got to take advantage of opportunities. That's the number one thing when you facing dynasty teams. That's usually why the Patriots and the Chiefs are always so successful. Is because anytime, like you would see it all the time. Like this is the moment to, like the missed touchdown to Zay Flowers, and then like the Ravens offense looks so stagnant for the first 3.5 quarters, and I'm just like, this game could be so different if they take advantage. Patrick Mahomes throw interception, you need to score a touchdown. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's 4th and 1, 4th and 2, and then you can't kick field goals. I remember we played the Chiefs. Remember Bill O'Brien, and in that game and in the playoffs, and we was conservative. We were up a lot, and then I remember we were up 21-0, and instead I think he kicked a field goal instead of just going for it. And me, I would have went for it because you put your foot on their neck. That's what you're supposed to do. But
yeah, well, the first thing was they what started it all was they went for it they try to run a fake punt, and they got stopped, and immediately just turned into just a horrible, a horrible 3 hours later, but ready for this season.
Hey, yeah, I'm definitely like I feel less nervous, and I know John is trying to like trap me. He said, "Jesse, you agree we're gonna beat the brakes off the Cowboys?" So wait, let me ask. In those 3 games, Dolphins, Chiefs, Ravens, what's the record?
Wow, man, it's a tough one, bro. You'll be lucky to win 2 games. I'll tell you that, just because you're playing in such, you're playing 3 playoff teams, 3 great quarterbacks, 3 great coaches in the span of 10 days. So it's going to be real tough. You do have the game before that, a bye. So you might, you do get that little break before there, but man, yeah, like Brandon said, 2-1. And if you go 2-1, no matter who it's against, you're happy because you're beating either Baltimore or Kansas City.
If you go 3-0, we Super Bowl for sure.
Yeah, dude, absolutely.
So the expectation. What are your expectations for the season? Are you saying right now, before the season started,
12-5, get to the AFC Championship, get a
AFC
shot at the Super Bowl.
So successful season is 12-5 AFC Championship, right?
Yeah, AFC Championship or bust.
So an unsuccessful season. So if we lose, say we face the Ravens in a divisional round as a shootout and we lose. That's an unsuccessful season.
It's a bust, man. You've never won a divisional matchup, and you would now be 0-3, 0-4 against the Ravens in the playoffs. Nah, I would be
man.
like,
The Ravens pissed me off. The Ravens pissed me off in the playoffs, bro. I wanted to ask a couple more questions. I know you got to head out and do your stream as well. When it comes to what was the question? It was, I want to ask this. The Texans overrated, underrated players. Who is the most underrated player on the Houston Texans for you?
The most underrated player, someone that's not being talked about. I do like our 5th-round draft pick, Cade Stover. He was CJ's boy back in Ohio State. He had a solid preseason against the Steelers. I think he caught a pass from every single one of our quarterbacks. A great blocker. I know we have Dalton Schultz. I know we have Brevin Jordan, but I think Cade Stover is going to have some opportunities to make an impact in the game. A great run blocker as well. I do like me some Cade Stover as a underrated, Houston Texans guy.
Gotcha. And anybody overrated? You saying on the team?
Man, hell no, bro.
Everybody's rated perfectly. I love that. Everybody. There's no hate.
I'll say Jimmy Ward because I didn't expect him to get the captain patch this year. He was a captain last year, and I think he's just going to hype us up regardless. So I would have rather seen that go to someone like Stingley, who's about to get paid this offseason. We just saw what Jalen Ramsey got today. So, Brandon said Pierce. Brandon, I don't want to hear none of that.
Pierce. Oh, yeah. Pierce had a great rookie season, man. I don't know. I know Cam Akers might be the number 2 running back now, huh?
I hope so. He needs to be. If I see Dameon Pierce as the back, I'm going to be pissed.
I feel that. And last question I'll give you before you head out. Who is the breakout player for the Texans? I mean, Derek Stingley to me is a guy I like to talk about because he's a guy that even though he's already broken out, I don't think he gets enough love like Sauce Gardner and Patrick Surtain and all that. And I think this is the year where it's definitive he's one of the top 3 corners in the NFL because he is to me a complete lockdown defensive player of the month. The last month of the season and in January, he is a guy I think is going to be all pro type of player. But is there any? Do you think him or anyone else who you think would be a breakout player for us?
I could go Stingley. Brandon says Lassiter. I would like that. Let's see, man, because let's go with Tank. Let's go with Tank Dell, the guy who broke his leg and came back healthy. They got shot in the leg and had to come back for that and was here on day 1 of voluntary workouts for the Houston Texans. I think he's going to have a fantastic season. You could argue before he went down, he was the number 1 guy for the Houston Texans before he goes out against Jacksonville, was on pace for 1,000 yards and double-digit touchdowns. So Tank Dell, I think, his great connection with CJ, they're best friends. They might try to come out the gate and let them know that, hey, Tank Dell, I'm here. Freak like Nico Collins. Him too. They call him, CJ called him our modern day version of Andre Johnson. So I'm excited to see.
Yeah. And my camera messed up, so that seems like it's time to head out. But hey, y'all, thank you so much for joining this stream. It was a pleasure talking to you, my man. And go check out his channel. He's about to do a stream right after this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's about to do a stream right after this. So go check out his channel. I'm gonna put the channel in the description below. Make sure to like this video for more content. And hey, we're gonna catch you guys on the next live stream. And we're out of here. Peace.
All right, buddy.